against amnesty, if you read down in the next paragraph, he said, speaking of illegals, these people must be given incentives. And then he introduced a new term in the lexicon. He said we must regularize their status. So let's just follow the word pattern here. It used to be amnesty. In 2003, in a press conference in his Tucson office, the Tucson citizen quoted him as saying, amnesty is an important part of the solution. Then suddenly it became comprehensive immigration reform. When that did not fool us, and we've called him into account, now he talks tough, but unless you and I influence enough people, the good news is I think we're going to do that. But on some off chance we don't prevail, get ready. He's going to go back and rush into the arms of Obama and Janet Napolitano, and his rhetorical dodge will be, we just have to regularize their status. It is going to be the same amnesty. Please don't be fooled. That's why it's time to change and regularize his status from senator to citizen. Yes, ma'am. Stand up, Dinah.
Thank you. Several years ago, John McCain had a town hall meeting, but it was with the Republicans from several different districts. And my brother-in-law, Bill Brewster, was fortunate enough to be chosen to ask him a question. And the question was, maybe you can remember, Bill, but he said something like, knowing that you belong to the CFR, and immediately John McCain's body language became just,
Put him up, put him up.
like I don't know, afraid. He was afraid and immediately was on the defensive. Why are we not exposing the CFR in this?
Donna, you just did. Let me go on record. I'm pleased to be an Eagle Scout. I'm pleased that I'm a Paul Harris Fellow of Rotary International. But that's the only international organization I care about having been a member of as a private citizen. I have no interest in ever joining the Council on Foreign Relations. I'd much rather be a part of Mesa Town Halls than me. The larger challenge in the campaign, Dinah, is this. We have a finite amount of resources. You've heard the old joke, the good news is I have the money to win this campaign. The bad news is it's still in your pockets. All kidding aside, Barbara knows she's run for office. She served there. The whole thing is this. We're fiscal conservatives. We have to do more with less. Mr. McCain, despite all his protestations about how horrible it was that people gave money to candidates and that there were so-called special interest groups, boy, for this campaign, he got over that in a New York nanosecond. And so he's been taking dough hand over fist from the Washington special interest. That's fine. I'm not crying about it. I think, quite frankly, everyone should be able to donate. I believe what Mr. Justice Brandeis said. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, should be the rule. But understand, we've got a finite amount of resources. So we dwell upon the major differences that motivate people. Especially now, because of what I said about this misnamed illegal immigration being a national security threat, an economic security threat, and an invasion. You could gauge from the crowd response here, and it's reflected in the public opinion polls. People are uneasy, and when they are reminded, when you see the spots tomorrow, there you will see John McCain right there with Ted Kennedy in the background, and then another picture of Mr. Obama and Mr. McCain embracing. And that video, I believe, will have a profound effect on many who intend to vote in this primary. So we stick with the big issues, and Dinah, it is not to dismiss your concerns. In fact, to take it, just go with it a second longer, you know the biggest factor in this campaign? It's not going to be the ads. And please don't misunderstand, the issues are important, but even the issues take the back seat to your reputation. The issues take a back seat to your integrity. Let me say it that way. Do you realize how many people are going to cast their votes based on your say-so? That's why we have the yard signs and bumper stickers. The simple thing is, hey, you know, I went over to 12 West. I heard JD. He has big feet and bad breath, but he'll do okay in the Senate. Your statements of support, because the people with whom you work, the people with whom you worship, the people with whom you fellowship, value your opinion. So please don't misunderstand. It's not that issues are not important. It's not that we want to give short shrift to any legitimate concern, but in the final analysis, a campaign is each one reach one, or 10, or 12, or 20. And that's what we'll do to make it work. Let me go here to this lady. Yes, ma'am. The dear lady asked, McCain's idea of regularization, or regularizing these people, would it mean, I'll paraphrase here a little bit, chain migration? You see, the problem heretofore has been this. Someone is granted a green card, and then the request goes out to bring not just the immediate family, but great uncles, great aunts, second cousins 3 times removed, and everyone who can lay claim to some kinship. And so that's why the numbers grow from 10 million to an excess of 20 million by some accounts, maybe even more. I cannot tell you what Mr. McCain has planned jot and tittle, but certainly since chain migration was part of comprehensive immigration reform and part of amnesty, we have no reason to think that it would not be part of Chapter 3 in this battle, regularize. In fact, I would say count on it. Lucky, oh yes, the dear lady in her Viking shirt next to Lucky. Don't be nervous, you're among friends. Good, I'll fill in the blank. Yeah. Yeah. The dear lady has a great question. First of all, no, it's okay. I don't know, you're doing fine. God bless you, you're among friends. Sure. What happened? She wants me to fill in some of the blanks. You know, and then this is, you're among friends and among people who've all gone through the same thing. Because most of us, I know we have a good hometown faction here in Mesa, but tell the truth, a lot of us are Arizonans by choice, right? How many people moved here from someplace else? Oh, yeah, the majority of people. As I tell folks, I'm a North Carolinian by birth, Arizonan by the grace of God, because I love this place, and I'm glad to have this place. But the dear lady was saying, hey, I used to listen to you on the radio, and to that I have to say, it's obvious I have a face for radio, but I thank you for listening, and she kind of wanted to fill in the blank. She said, no, wait a minute, you were in Washington at one point, and then I heard you on the radio, and now you want to go back. Can you explain? And sure I can. I served 12 years in the House, and then in the midterms of 2006, I finished second. So I was returned to private life. You may have heard Senator McCain on Saturday night in Tucson kind of harumphing with delight. Did you hear that? Did you get that return to private life? And then I turned and said, well, John, I may have been rejected by a congressional district, but you were rejected by the entire country twice. So anyway, but the point is this, I lost an election. And I believe, and some people were in here, some folks thought I lost my way. Others, sadly, believed a lot of false stuff. trumped up about my family,